thank you so much, Grace, Shari, Daisy. It is so lovely to have you on with us today, doing a little bit of filming, a little bit of promo for Young Broker Day ahead of BIBA Conference 2025. So in the first instance, I think let's go around the room and do a little intros, who you are, how you've come to be where you've been, a little bit about your career journey so far. So Shari, do you want to kick us off? Let us know a bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So hello, I'm Shari Story and I'm the broking manager here at Utree in Newmarket, and I have been in insurance for about 13 years now. So started in claims, which I found really beneficial in terms of actually knowing how policies tend to respond. And then I moved into the account handling side of things shortly after, worked for a corporate, and now I'm here in Newmarket working for the lovely Utree, and I'm also on the Young Broker Committee for the Anglia region of BIBA.
Fantastic. How long have you been on the committee?
So I think I've been on the Young Broker Committee for about 2 years now. So it started, funny enough, with me being the only young broker on the actual BIBA committee, and was tasked to try and build a force. And here we are 2 years later with a nice little family together.
That's so nice. Daisy, what about you? How did you get
So obviously Daisy, I'm also at Utree with Shari. I started my career in insurance about 5 years ago, where I worked for an insurer. Moved into broking about 2 years ago, which is quite exciting. Loving it, to be fair. And I'm also part of the Young Broker Committee.
Fantastic. And how long have you been a member of the Young Broker Committee?
18 months, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just me and 2 others for a while, and then we've managed to build the force.
Fantastic. Love that. And Grace, what about you?
Hi, I'm Grace Clark. Sorry, I almost said my maiden name. I am a corporate account exec at Saffron Insurance. We're part of the Big R Donner umbrella. I've sort of been in insurance for 15 years. So I sort of came in straight when I was 17, did claims for a while, and then sort of got into broking and never looked back. So I really love it. I've only been on the Young Broker Ambassadors as about a year, I think it is now. So it's quite nice. I didn't really know too much about it now, and I do feel like we're a lot more connected. It's nice to be in touch with the wider group, basically.
Yeah, fantastic. So I remember from Young Broker Day last year, and the 3 of us sat down post-show, and I was really keen to get your feedback about what you thought for the day. And there were several things that, we went away and we really looked at what we did last year and how we could make it better. And so what we, wanted to do was make a really valuable day for our young and brokers. And a couple of the items of feedback, like the fact that for the first time we've opened it up to young insurers, was something that we'd never even considered before. And that came very much from you girls. So, Grace, why that suggestion? Why is that important?
I just felt it was really important because a lot of the time we are sort of networking with other brokers, and whilst it's really lovely to be surrounded by like-minded individuals and we can sort of share our knowledge and experience, they are also in some cases our competitors, so there is always a bit of a barrier there. Whereas if you're looking at day-to-day working relationships, the best thing that you can do is work with insurers, and I think it's actually a really good opportunity for insurers to get involved and get their sort of young talent involved, and from day one then we're going to make long and lasting relationships which will work every day. Whereas, for example, other than being on the sort of Young Broker Committee, sometimes myself and Shari and Daisy might not have day-to-day contact because essentially we're from different brokers, and whilst we are unified as like-minded individuals in the industry, that we will be competing on business in cases. So it's really important for us to have a relationship with insurers who we will sort of want to get deals with and build long-term relationships with, as well as people in the same industry as us from a broking perspective.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. So I think we were saying when we all got together as well, how much we all thrive on being educated as well. We deal with so many different products, so many different insurers, that actually knowing why we're asked the questions we are, why things are a risk, what's happening externally that contributes to our rates going up, going down, so that we have a better understanding to have really meaningful conversations with clients, which is our end goal as brokers. So
helps us behind the scenes, doesn't it? Build a bigger picture.
Right. And I think also from my point of view as well, from BIBA's perspective, what's really nice is that in that way we are supporting the next generation of the insurance industry across the board, because we want the young brokers and the young future broking leaders to sort of, you know, come and rise up through the ranks. But at the same time, the young insurers are just as important to get up to make sure that actually the future of the whole industry is in good hands. So that's supporting across the board also in terms of that sort of next generation is really nice. I mean, I don't even remember the stat now, but I remember someone telling me a stat of what percentage of the industry would be retiring in sort of 5-10 years, and I thought, oh my god.
I think it's more than 50%.
It's
of
crazy.
the population. Yeah.
So Daisy, over to you in terms of the agenda for Young Broker Day and sort of all of the different sessions that we have in. Is there one particular that you think actually that would be really interesting? What are you most looking forward to?
For me, because of the personality, I'm really looking forward to speed networking. It's going out, it's the mingling with people, and it's the kind of doing it with like I can. It breaks the ice. You know, I'm not the kind of person that's going to walk up to someone I've never met in a room and just say, hi, my name's Daisy, who are you? To have them there to be able to break the ice, it removes sort of the fear factor for me.
And what tip do you think, or tips do you think that you would give young brokers and young insurers who, similar to you, might not be the most sort of outgoing, gregarious, confident, in order for them to make the most of that networking, do you think?
You've just got to push yourself outside your comfort zones. You've got to think, right, if today's the only day I'm going to do it, this is the best day for it, put your right foot forward and get going.
Yeah. And also, I guess, and just know that there are so many other people in the room that are in the same boat as you.
People feel the same as you. You're not alone. You know, you're in a group of people that probably half the room thinking, oh my God, I'm so nervous. You know, half these people I've never met. I don't know what to say. But to have someone like to lead into it and say, look, let's discuss this, or let's talk about different scenarios, really sort of help settle you. And then once you feel a bit more comfortable, that's when you can then start asking more and more. You can dig that a little bit deeper.
Yeah. I think because that's one of the bits of feedback we had a couple of years ago when we started doing our pre-Young Broker Day drinks networking, and we would do it sort of a month out from the show, and we do it now in London and in Manchester. We've done it the last couple of years, and we've had sort of 100 young brokers turn up, and actually what's been really nice is for them to meet ahead of the day. So I get, from my point of view, I'd be saying to people, if you are local to those two on the 9th of April, get yourself there, try it. It's after work and it's a great opportunity to meet ahead of the day so that you aren't going in thinking, oh my God, I know no one. Because if you at least know a couple of people, and also even just the fact that everyone will now know you three, so that's going to be lovely as well for them. So Sherry, what about you? What in the agenda really sort of piques your interest?
Oh, I think the speed networking as well. I think that the conversations are the most important part of everything that we all do. And having more conversations is only going to better the results for everyone. But also I'm looking forward to the broker underwriter presentation as well, in terms of going back to the point of seeing what people need to see, why they need to see it, that education piece again, and just showing the importance of what we're doing, why we need to gather the information that we do. Just seeing it as a real life example, and helping people that are just entering into the industry get more of an idea as to how they improve what they're presenting to underwriters to get that better result for clients. It's just, there's so much of it that's going to be absolutely incredible. But I think, yeah, getting people together, getting them talking, and just highlighting the importance of how we conversate with the people that we work with.
Right. Grace, anything to add in terms of the agenda from you?
For me, I'm actually really looking forward to the artificial intelligence piece.
Mm.
We've had quite a lot at the minute communicated through sort of claims and sort of how this is going to impact us in the market. And I think it's a big subject at the moment. And I think it's actually one that young brokers are going to be really interested in, because you could argue that actually a lot of young people are growing up with technology, they're more familiar with technology, and this is something that's going to change our industry quite dramatically. So for me, it's actually just sort of getting a bit more education on the piece, how it's going to impact us in the market, and actually then sort of being able to discuss it with other brokers as well and see how they're tackling it and how they're going to handle it going forward, as well as insurers. Because like I said, you know, with claims, we've sort of seen fraud claims on cyber policies and stuff, that artificial intelligence are actually mimicking how people can talk, and they can copy how people speak. And so it's actually, how are we as an industry going to fight against that? So I'm really interested in that, as well as obviously the speed networking and stuff.
One of the I too, I'm really looking forward to the AI one. I had a briefing with Sean and Paolo, who are the two speakers that we have on that session, and they've both contributed to our BIBA AI guide that actually we're going to be rolling out ahead of conference. And even just on the 10-minute briefing call, I had to stop and be like, save some of this stuff for the day. It's so fascinating listening to this. And actually, it was Paolo, and he tagged me on something on LinkedIn, and it was about, you know, when AI goes rogue sort of thing. And then there was bits like, you know, on Google when you type in and it comes up with like some AI answers at the beginning. Well, he had an AI tool that he was typing in bits and pieces about BIBA conference, and it was giving answers that sounded like it was you know, fact. It said something like BIBA conference delivers £5 million into the local economy, and then when you scroll all the way down, it said something like, this is a guess. And because and I thought, actually, that's scary, that sometimes what's purported to be truth is actually not. And also it's actually 10 million, so if I can get it right,
undercutting you,
that would be better. It's almost write to the AI bot or whoever it is and be like, did you get your facts straight? That's 10 million. So yeah, so what do you think then is what's your favorite thing about Young Broker Day? What is the one thing that if someone came to you and said, why should I go? It's the 15th of May, I'm really busy at work, or I'm struggling to get time off, or whatever that is. What do you think, each of you, is the one thing that you would say? Shari, let's start with you.
I think for me, I've always just felt like there's a sense of belonging when you go to Young Broker Day. Everyone is there pretty much for the same reason. We are looking for ways to better our career. We're looking for people that we can engage with, people that we know, but there's just such a buzz in the air. The atmosphere inside of the conference, for one, is brilliant. The fact that you get to go and stroke puppies, I know that's not directly connected to the Young Broker Day, but you get to go and be in a pen with puppies is a personal highlight. But just the wealth of conversations that you get from the people that are speaking as well, you know, from personal brand tips to people that have contributed to mental health conversations over the years. I don't think there's anyone that would not have a takeaway from Young Broker Day that improves how they move forward.
Yeah. Daisy, what about you?
Because it sort of reignites your buzz for working in insurance. You come in and like the atmosphere is just incredible, and you're like, group of insurance people, how is it so fun? Woo! You're like, woo! But it is so fun, and like for me, I also take it as an opportunity to like reflect back on what I've done between BIBA last year and this year. What are my successes? What after the conference, you know, what do I want to see myself doing going forward next year? You know, when it's Young Broker next year, what do I want to be saying? Oh God, look at what I've done this year. I'm so proud of myself, or, you know, I'm proud of the team we are. And that's like, for me, it's the refreshing, the enthusiasm, like the reflecting on like how the year's been, what opportunities we've done. Like this year we've had some charity events and things like that. It's just a great day for like reflection and self-learning.
Yeah, great. Also, it's free. I think that's the one thing that I always say is that, you know, for young brokers and young insurers, we know that sometimes it is hard to sort of be able to say to your manager, look, I really want to go to this. It costs X amount of money. Budget is, it's that's a hard argument sometimes. Whereas actually the fact that, we make it a free to attend day with all of these benefits, plus the opportunity to actually go around the exhibition as well, because that's also really important. Is not only is it the personal development sessions and the knowledge that you get, but also the ability to go around, network in the exhibition, see all of these stands, talk to the thousands of people that are in the show as well, which is such a really important. I mean, I also don't know about anyone else, but the fact that we have Anthony Joshua coming, which by the time this video goes out, we probably would have said, if not launch.
Spoiler alert.
If not,
I did put Anthony Joshua down. Didn't think we could discuss him.
The fact that that's a caliber of speaker that we have never been able to bring before. I mean, that has raised the game for us, in order to be able to put on something that these young, our young brokers and our young insurers will never have had the opportunity to hear from someone who has not only excelled in the sports world, but also is an incredibly successful business person and marketer. I think it's something, there's a quote in his bio, which is something like the most marketed person in sport or something. And just think, God, from a personal branding point of view, gosh, what an achievement as well. When you think of everyone else that's at his level, that sort of absolute sporting Galactico superstar. So for me, I'm really excited. Grace, what about you? What would be the one thing that you would say if the young broker was thinking, I've never been before, shall I go? What for you would be what you'd say?
I think really there's a lot of questions. Is it value? Do you get value out of it? Is it worth the time? Because I think we all sort of face those questions when we're sort of saying that we want to go. And I'd say yes, it is, because whilst which Sari and Daisy have touched on, the networking piece is great, and meeting people with like-minded individuals. And a lot of the time I think that some of us, although we might be in sort of larger companies, but we still kind of feel our world is quite small. We deal with the same people most days. You don't really get to see how big the insurance industry is and how powerful we can actually all be together. And also it's sort of how much we give back to people, and you don't always see that day to day. And there's a lot of market changes that we don't, you might just think, oh, it might not affect me, but actually it affects everyone. And I think there's massive educational pieces on it, massive networking, and it is such a wonderful atmosphere. It sort of kind of brings you back to how it used to be, where they're trading in Lloyd's every day, and we lost that a lot through COVID, I think. So to actually bring us all back together in the same room, for people, I don't think anyone grew up saying I want to be in insurance, but perhaps this might change their opinion, because there is a buzz, and it's a great industry to work in. I think it's a really good advertisement for that. And if you can get young brokers in to form good relationships, get the educational piece, then hopefully you'll be able to keep them for life.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's that reuniting, isn't it, that annually, as disparate as you are across the UK as young brokers, the idea of coming together each year and sort of going, oh, have you been, that sharing is important. That's really nice.